What is going on, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Middle of the month. We're here for another Scaling with Systems podcast. I'm your host, Ravi Abuvala. And today I have joined with me Greg Drozdow. That's how you say it, right? Drozdow?
Yeah, you got it right on the money.
All right, good stuff. Greg Drozdow, someone I consider a friend of mine. We've had dinner in California. Greg came to me almost exactly a year ago, right? Probably a little less than a year ago, right? It was summertime, August. Okay. August of 2019. I remember he's like, look, man, I'm putting a lot of faith in you. I don't really know if this is going to work. And this was back when I was closing, my own deals, right when Scaling with Systems was really kind of starting to get full speed. So I talked to him personally, got on board, guy took action immediately, hopped on all the calls and just like slowly things started clicking. And the cool thing about Greg is he's in an industry where you can be really handcuffed. He's in the financial services industry. So he was really handcuffed with a lot of the stuff he was doing. And so he saw the power of what we offered, but he actually couldn't implement a lot of it. But he did implement as much as he could. He got some killer results right off the bat. And now it's like the man sitting in front of us today is different from the man that I spoke to about a year ago. I mean, the guy is working with one of the largest financial services marketing companies in the world. He is, I can see happier. He seems more fulfilled. He's bringing in more money. He has employees of his own now. He works with teams. So I'm going to let Greg kind of explain everything. But first I want to say, Greg, welcome to the show, man. Happy to have you here, brother.
Thank you, man. A heck of an introduction. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Happy to be here, man. I'm stoked. It's been quite the journey since we met, man. I'm like eternally grateful for just everything. Just number one, investing in myself and obviously meeting you. And I've been having a blast just between the group, the mastermind, and just I'm still continuing on this journey, and I feel like I'm in the beginning. So it's awesome.
You really are in the beginning. Yeah, that's the funny thing. It's like I feel like we're pretty close, and I've met you twice, right? Once in the mastermind, the other time you came to San Diego, right, in person. So I guess now in today's world, people are gonna have to get more comfortable, having virtual relationships. But I've become a master at that. But so Greg, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know, so you're in New York. You have an awesome background experience, and I know you're in New York now. Now I just learned like 5 seconds ago you're in South Carolina, which is awesome because if anybody's watching this right now, by the way, comment live. You're watching it live. Comment replay if you're watching the replay. I always keep track of this stuff, but I was like, that doesn't look like New York City. It doesn't look like the concrete jungle behind you. And he told me he was in Charleston. So Greg, tell us a little bit about, for the people that are watching, we don't have to get necessarily into like, snappy cracking and all that stuff, but tell us a little bit about who you are, what your business is, like that kind of stuff, so people can get an idea.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I do live in New York City. This is not New York City. It's definitely, in my opinion, better. I'll just share a quick view right now.
Wow.
So we needed to get some headspace, and I think that's obviously a good thing to do for everybody. So getting right into it, my background. So I've been a licensed financial planner and advisor, consultant. We take many titles, but I've always considered myself a comprehensive advisor and planner for the last around 8 years. And I started my career right out of school. First off, I was similar to you. I feel like there's a very unique trend and story. A little bit about me. I'm born and raised in North Miami Beach, Florida. I went to school in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and then I decided to go to a small liberal arts school, very academically focused, called Brandeis University in Boston, Massachusetts. I studied pre-medicine there. My dad is a doctor, and I have a family full of like dentists and doctors. Similar to how I think you mentioned like your family's, lawyers and stuff. So very similar. I was pre-med for 3 years. I've always just wanted to help people, man. That's all I really wanted to do. And I thought that was the best path for me. And I found out 3 years in and going through organic chemistry and almost failing that I just was not happy and I needed a change. So I did a business minor my senior year. And then I was involved in like some entrepreneurial startups. I just wanted to get in business and entrepreneurship. And then graduating my senior year, I took the first opportunity that I got and decided to go into wealth management and financial services because I had a friend who was very successful at it, who was a couple of years older than me in my fraternity. And he was like my mentor at the time. So he convinced me. So I did it. I started my career with ING Financial Partners. which is now called Voya in the United States. I was with them for 3 years, and I was with a group underneath them called McAdam Financial. Amazing training program. Within a year and a half, I was like top 5, I guess, in my office, and we were all a bunch of young advisors right out of school. They taught us how to become a financial planner, start to finish, not knowing anything. And it was honestly amazing now looking back at it. And within a year and a half, I became a manager. So I led a team of young advisors underneath me. So I got leadership experience. I saw triple the meetings, and I got to, get involved in organizational development and leadership and things like that. And then after 3 years with that group, I decided to transition. I went to one of the largest mutual insurance companies in the country, or I should say second oldest, called Penn Mutual. And I was with them for 3 years, a year and a half in their Boston office. Then I moved to New York. My wife and I just wanted to move to New York. We had some friends and family. Moved to New York in 2017, was with them for another year and a half. And then I ended up pivoting because I was trying to get funnel marketing going. I was trying to get a lot of systems going, and I was like ahead of the curve, so they say. And a lot of these compliance departments just couldn't keep up with me. And I was getting so frustrated. I was like, and it was getting bad because I'm me. I mean, I'm a passionate guy. For those who don't know me. I mean, maybe you could probably tell from this interview, but I was hitting roadblock after roadblock, and I was like, I built this website, I built this funnel, I invested like over 10 grand for an agency to build it for me. I was willing to commit, and the compliance aspect, they couldn't get it done. So then I leave to Prudential as an advisor in 2018. So I was, again, 3 years with Voya, 3 years with Penn, and now I'm still with Prudential. And they made a bunch of promises, not to get too much into it, but funnel-based marketing and all this stuff. And it was good. I started doing more public speaking. I was part of their Pathways program. So we go around in New York City to different companies and do financial literacy and education seminars. And that was great and great to build confidence. But I've always been passionate about the digital game, and everything from just learning how to do funnel marketing, digital marketing through messaging. And I didn't know enough. So I had invested starting in 2017 after I got married. I came back from my honeymoon, and I remember doing this. I'm like, I had about 1,000 or less followers on Instagram, and I'm like, I see all these people doing amazing things. Doesn't matter what industry, like travel or business. And I'm just like, how did they get to where they are? So I started following what I thought was the right people, like the Gary V's, Tony Robbins, those types of people. And I just started kind of learning and figuring this all out. And then I came across a guy named Lewis Mocker. And then I came across a guy named Jeff Seckinger. And then I came across a guy named Ravi Abuvala. And that happened, I would say, in like early 2018. I was following you and Jeff for like 6 months. And I just love the energy, man. I was psyched. I was like, these guys are awesome. I'm like, I resonate with what they're doing. And then we got to know each other, and then boom, dude, I decided to make the investment, and here I am.
I love that. That's awesome. That's badass. Yeah, it's so funny that you were following us on Instagram for a while first. I remember when we had our call in August, you had said that. You're like, man, I found you through Jeff, and I found Jeff through Lewis Mocker. And it's like, there's a saying, it's like 9 degrees of separation, right? So it's like, you never know. And that's what's so powerful about a personal brand, which, and that's something that I know, Greg, you've been really working on for a while now, is like building up your personal brand and like making that. And you've been, like we said at the beginning of this video, really handcuffed as far as like what you could say. And ironically enough, like, so Jeff Seckinger, who's my roommate, that Greg's referencing, in case you guys don't know, he was in the financial services as well. And he was building a personal brand, and they actually made him choose between his personal brand and essentially the business, which is one of the largest banks in the world. And he chose his personal brand. And now obviously he's a client of mine, runs multiple companies, really, really successful. So I think that's really badass. I'm super happy we obviously got connected. So what was it like, before we get into the whole, like, how you guys are doing this right now and what kind of systems you guys have in place and what Snappy Kraken is and all that, like, when you first joined SWS, when you first joined Scaling with Systems, like, what was your thought process? Why did you reach out to me originally? Where were kind of the roadblocks that you had? Did we help you iron those out? Kind of walk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, so it was a combination of things. I would say first off, systems, right? So like I was doing everything myself, and I didn't have direction. I thought I had direction. I was starting to learn about funnel marketing. I thought that I had this one funnel, and I was like obsessed with it. and I still think it's pretty good, but I'm obsessed with it. And that's coming soon, by the way. But it never ended up launching. And I just thought about it. I was like, I built this amazing product, and a lot of it was a little bit of ego, and not really knowing enough. I was growing. And so it was just a combination of like figuring out what is the best strategy or system to generate leads and turn them into clients, right? And I had to I've always tried to step out of my industry and also learn from people in the industry. I've had the opportunity to learn from, multi-million-dollar advisors, and they're amazing. But I got to remember that those guys started 30 years ago or 20 years ago when there was only cold calling and there was no internet. So I've had to go outside, and that's how I found you. So I had issues with lead generation, just doing it anyway. I didn't have a direction. I wanted to turn on this funnel, and I was ready to do paid advertising, but learning from you that necessarily didn't have to start there. So I didn't know anything about direct message marketing. I had no idea. I tried a few companies. I had invested in a couple guys. They weren't getting me results. They were also doing the 3-prong approach over like a period of a month. And I'm like, that is way too long. So I wanted, a little bit quicker results. I also was lacking, in my opinion, a really good network of like-minded people around me. Don't get me wrong. Most of financial advisors are very entrepreneurial, but a lot of them are older. And I have some good people and close guys I'm tight with in the industry, but I was trying to think bigger, right? And I wanted to go online. And I just really didn't know how to do that because no one in our industry, it's just, we're behind. Now it's funny because I feel like I'm leading from the front, but I had to get there and I had to figure it out and fail forward. So that was an issue. Direct message marketing, good network, and then strategy, and then like where to go and what to do first. And that's really what I thought was, from your posts and everything that you were sharing online and social media that you could help me with. And after we talked, I was confident that was the case. So I said, let's do it.
I love it. Yeah. And it's so funny. I hear almost every single time when I'm doing a Facebook Live or when we're doing a testimonial interview with like some really incredible clients of mine, it's like the community aspect is like probably top 2 things I'd say I hear from every single person. And I feel like that's getting even more important right now as obviously people get more and more isolated. And I know Greg can attest to this, but the SWS community, I will be a little biased when I say this, but it's some pretty killer people who are all super supportive. I know people are starting businesses together. I know you and Barney are working together on a bunch of stuff as well. Like people just, I don't know what it is about that group, and I'm a little biased, but I've never seen so much community. And maybe one other group I can think of, I've seen that kind of community. But yeah, I'm super grateful. And that has zero to do with me. It's just the people that we have inside of our program, right? I barely do anything in there. It's literally just the people we have inside of it like you. So that's incredible. So fast forward a little bit. Let's hit what the people came here to see, right? So 2020 hits. When did you start shifting more into the snappy Kraken, or you realize like, hey, I have all this knowledge and skill sets, and although I came into scaling with systems looking for this one thing, I identified I can do something maybe even bigger and better over here as well, and you kind of went down that path. Talk to me about when that switch happened, why it happened, and like where you are now with it.
Yeah, so this happened, I would say, right around before and right after our mastermind in December. I've always had a vision for my own personal brand, which is, as I mentioned, in a soft launch right now. If you go into my Instagram Linktree, it's all there. But it's not fully launched yet. I took your advice and I did a soft launch, capturing data and testing and getting feedback from my audience. And that's been working really, really well. And I'm very, very excited about that. From an advisor perspective, and then products and courses and things like that coming soon. But I was looking for funnel solutions for my business, and not just funnels. Snappy Kraken does a handful of other things. We're a full marketing stack platform that helps with 5 areas of your business: lead generation, nurturing prospects, servicing clients and generating referrals, and then automating all the operational workflows for the advisor. And, like you preach, systems. It all comes down to systems, so you can scale, free up time, make your life easier, less stress. And I was looking into them for my own business. And then I was thinking, I was like, for throughout the years, I've always thought about, like, you have your what ifs in your mind. What if I went to go do this instead of what I'm doing right now? What if I ended up doing that? right? And thinking about marketing companies. And I've always loved marketing, but I wasn't resonating with any of the companies in our industry. They just weren't cutting it for me. They weren't cutting edge. I like to be on the forefront of technology. I like to disrupt. I like to make noise and have fun. And they fit every single criteria. And then I got to know the CEO, our CEO, Robert Sophia. If you don't know this guy, check him out. He is an incredible, human being, incredible guy, and super brilliant. And he's built an amazing culture. So we're an all team virtual 36 people. I'm one of 3 account executives. So meaning I'm consulting financial advisors and helping bringing them on the platform, but also talking strategy with them. And so number 1, he built an amazing product. 2, the people, camaraderie, and 3, the disruption in our industry is insane. I mean, this year we've been ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction, fastest growing, and advisor interest. We have an in-house content creation and design team that's been ranked 3 years in a row, top social media in financial services. And just because of all the red tape, it's extremely hard to create content on your own in our industry. So I just felt something that clicked with me. And I thought, I was like, I know where I'm going, but I do need a little bit of stability that would be decent right now at this time, just because of everything going on in my life. And at the same time, because I've learned some of the systems through your program, I was like, they're using the same systems. I have a VA, a virtual assistant. I could scale things and do what Ravi does, right? Because you scale more than one business. It's possible. You just got to really commit and focus. And it's directly on the flywheel in relation to what I'm doing anyway. So why not be a part of something really cool? I also, by the way, I'm married. I have a wife. I'm at a little different stage. I'm about to be 30. I'm not that old, but I have to satisfy both of us as well. And I just thought it was an amazing opportunity. And I had some other opportunities at the table as well. I was thinking of starting something else like my own firm, but related into financial services with someone that to me was not as attractive as being able to leverage systems, technology, being part of an amazing community. And it's just, and I had this vision. I'm like, I can do this. I will do this. And I committed, and so far it's happening. So, what you believe you can achieve. And I mean, it's possible, man. You just got to really focus. And sometimes I think it's tough to figure out like direction and strategy, but like you said, and, like Jeff Olson says, consistent and perfect action, starts to compound over time. So I feel like that's what's happened, and that's what has happened. And honestly, man, I'm having a blast. Like I'm consulting advisors. Our team's amazing. When I first came on the first day, like everybody was dropping memes of like, welcome. Like, it's just an amazing culture, and we're all virtual. So we all are trying to create the same mindset, time freedom, but build something really special here. And we're young. We're really young, and we're taking over a lot of these other companies' market share. And it's just exciting. I get to travel to industry events. I'm still an advisor. So I get to relate to the people that I'm talking to as well. It makes me happy. And, and long term, we'll see where it goes, man. But so far it's been amazing. It's been really good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's, Greg, and I want to talk about a few kind of key points that you said right there. But before I go into that, I do want to say, I think one of the biggest reasons for your success, one of the biggest reasons why you and I get along and why you've had this so far is like, you so quickly put your success on other people, and you very quickly, like, for me, you've said some incredible things. For your new CEO, you said some incredible things. And like, people want to be around people that say nice things about other people. And people don't really realize that, but it's like, that is the truth, right? If you're the person that's talking shit about your boss and your current work situation, whatever it is, then everyone's like, okay, they're just negative Nancy, right? But if everywhere you go, you're just like bringing energy and like positivity into a room, and complimenting other people and putting your success as, we talked about at the mastermind, Jim Collins, Good to Great. They said one of the best signs of a leader, and not just like best as in the sense of the term best, but actually like monetarily based on the S&P 500, the companies that did the greatest over a 40-year period, one of the qualities they noticed in the leader was someone who delegated all of the pride onto somebody else and took 100% of the responsibility on themselves. And I noticed that with you, and I just want to let you know you're doing a killer job with it. And that's why it's really cool interviewing you, talking with you. being around you, and it's really infectious. I know that's why other people see it.
You too.
But I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Moving past that, what I want to say is I love, and I'll say also, it's so cool seeing like how happy you are, and I mean, I remember like the difference in like you and I remember the first call we had. You were like sitting in a Starbucks in New York City, and like it was loud, and like I could barely hear you, and I could like hear frustration in your voice. And now you're like, you got palm fronds in the background, you're wearing a nice shirt, you're sitting in Charleston, like you're you know, it's an awesome story, and I can see the happiness that's come from it as well, which is what it's all about, really, in the end, in my opinion. But like, so let's start talking a little bit. So I know there's a lot of people watching this, and we have a lot of financial advisors inside of here, and we have a lot of agency owners that are servicing financial advisors as well, right? So talk to us a little bit about, you know, what are you looking at when it comes to the marketplace in your industry right now? Are people like, I mean, obviously, as you guys saw in here, he's done like $76,000 in the past 2 months. So people are obviously buying right now, but like
100,000.
Say again?
100,000.
100,000. Excuse me, $100,000 in the past 2 months. But so it's like obviously people are buying. But like, how are you reaching out to how are you getting these leads of financial advisors, and like, what are they saying to you? Or as a financial advisor, how are you going to lead to these clients, right? Because you have a unique perspective like I do, as you're on both ends of the coin. So like, it's super interesting. So walk us through, like, you know, I think you can smash some people's limiting beliefs right here, whether you're in the financial services industry or not. But like, talk to us about what you're seeing on the industry front with you as far as closing deals and adding value to other people.
Yeah. Awesome. Absolutely. So what I would say is, in our industry right now, like most industries, because of COVID-19, I think there's been a huge wake-up call. The need and the want to go virtual has never been greater. So advisors traditionally, right, are face-to-face. When you're dealing with money, people want face-to-face. But to me, this is face-to-face, right? So the entire, and advisors who are older have started to realize that they can't see clients. They're not allowed to see clients, even if they wanted to, and they still need to service. So one component is moving virtual overall. The second component of what we see in the industry right now in financial services is, as I was mentioning before, our industry as a whole, when it comes to marketing, is very, in my personal opinion, behind. I don't think the industry does a good enough job, number one, of communicating. I mean, we're getting better. We're definitely getting better. And don't get me wrong. There's some, one-off advisors that are doing amazing jobs, and there's some great firms that do some awesome work. But as a whole, I think there's always been a stigma because of like the 1980s Wall Street, Wolf of Wall Street. Like historically, it was like people selling individual stocks and bonds. People, and that's not what the industry is today. It's more planning focused, covering what we call the 6 key areas of financial planning. So financial management, personal financial management and cash flow, investment management, tax strategies, insurance architecture, and estate planning. And historically, people think like, oh, what investment? They always start with the hot product or the hot stock. Like that is not what good financial planning is about. So our industry has started to shift more to planning, which we've seen, which is great. But going back to the marketing side, a lot of advisors have always struggled with getting their personal branding message out there, and also how to do marketing the proper way. When I say proper way, I mean that most advisors think that a website and optimizing a website is like the one way to drive traffic. And it is. It's a great way. Don't get me wrong. But what Snappy Kraken believes, and I'm sure you could probably attest to this, and we've done data on it. We have something called a 2020 digital marketing study that we released, where we analyzed in 2019, 14,000 campaigns, 2.5 million emails, and over 9 million data points. And it's a study. I can send it to you, and whoever wants it, I'm happy to send that to you as well. But what we found is that campaign-based marketing gets results. So what is campaign-based marketing? Directing traffic to landing opt-in pages, right? That direct them to a tripwire page that asks someone for an appointment, right? That have all the follow-up email sequences built into that campaign. Either look, you can create it on your own or do it for you. or we could do it for you, right? And they also automatically post to social media. So one, a lot of advisors focus on website SEO as their main and only strategy. They don't have any follow-up sequences for when they onboard a client. They don't have any follow-up sequences for nurturing prospects who come into some type of, let's say you meet someone at an event, right? You gotta nurture them and try and convert them. So that's one issue. The second issue is we see three main problems with advisors. Number one, time. Their good advisors are in appointments all day, seeing new clients or servicing clients, just like you say, set appointments, take appointments, right? But they don't have enough time to build their own content from scratch, right? So so you hire an outside agency. Number two, as I know you're an agency owner, and I've hired an agency owner, and I think it's a great way to build a custom funnels. But if you were to build one custom funnel in financial services, because of the amount of compliance you have to deal with, most agencies will charge between $10,000 and $20,000 just for one funnel. Okay, Snappy Kraken has over 50,000 campaigns given to you at a fraction of the cost for a couple $100 a month. So that's the second one, is cost. And then the third is canned content. We see a lot of these marketing companies that are in our industry right now that say they do campaign-based marketing, but the term campaign is so loosely held. What they're really doing is just giving a library of articles that are approved, CNBC, Yahoo Finance, and saying, hey, post this to your social media. But that doesn't do anything, right? If it's just spam. So if it's not driving value and capturing a name and email or asking for an appointment, what is the point of the piece of content, right? So that's what we do. We solve all three of those problems. We have a full marketing platform where advisors come on and we provide fresh digital marketing campaigns for them to launch to their respective audiences. The campaigns are full blown. They have every aspect you need, the landing page to tripwire to follow-up email sequences. They automatically post to social media. And they're on different topics. So one may say, hey, here are your 5 tips to investing in volatile markets. Another one may say, hey, here are your 5 tax opportunities or tax strategies for 2020. Or here are your 5 tips to retirement income, right? And they can fit whatever demographic. We also have one topic emails. We have event templates if they're doing an event. We give a video product. So we teach them with a script how to do video. A lot of advisors are older. They don't know. They have this fear of getting on camera. So we give them the script. We give them resources, tools, and a teleprompter. And the other thing is the support. We have amazing training. So that's all those things, all the above resonated with me because I've already gone through that in my own business. I've already seen the struggles. I was forward thinking. I'm a young advisor, fortunately, but I know there's a lot of advisors out there that need help. And that's really what we're doing. And in April alone, we had our best sales month ever because people were going, from physical to virtual. We did over $500,000 in sales in just April. And look, we're a young startup. We have a long way to go. We're opening up big enterprise deals with large broker dealers and big financial firms. And that takes time because the compliance and regulation. But we have these independent advisors that need this help now. And it's been amazing, man. So, for me, I'm planning on, I have my own funnels, my own content. I'm going to be using some of Snappy Kraken stuff because we have an amazing copywriting team. And again, happy to share all this with you, man. I mean, it's all about sharing, sharing is caring, the whole thing. And I'm honestly blessed, man. It's really, really amazing. And I think we're doing an amazing job and we're just excited to skyrocket here, from where we are.
Yeah, that's incredible. And the cool thing is, so everyone listening to this right now, they're doing $500,000 in the month of April. And in an industry that, it's not an industry that's everyone can see everybody right now. It's an industry that was there before COVID-19, and they were already doing really well when Greg and I sat down in, I don't know if it was February or March or something like that. They were already doing really well. But just like everybody watching this video right now, you guys have an opportunity to realize that, like Greg had just said, everyone who's been skating by and just doing what's been done for the past 50 to 100 years kind of got slapped in the face in the past 8 weeks. And most people that are making money right now, myself included, Greg included, everyone else included, are realizing that and figuring out how they can essentially help transition these people from the pain that they're experiencing right now into what they should have done, years ago. Whether that's for us helping people systemize and take their business online, cut their costs, hire virtual assistants, whether it's Greg working with Snappy Kraken, getting people online, compliance emails, compliance campaigns, like provable performance-based marketing, which is awesome as well. And I think that's cool because we're kind of destroying people's limiting beliefs that are watching this right now that, oh, no one's buying. Oh, we're going to hit a recession. Like, look, first of all, even if we hit a recession or a depression, people still make money in that time. Like, money doesn't disappear, guys. Like, it just changes hands. And like, you just need to realize that. And so now is a super unique opportunity, you know, to set yourself up to be one of the companies that's going to be thriving during this time. And the way that Greg just said it a second ago, that you need to be doing it is you need to be finding the people that have been skating by and that have not done any changes and be a real disruptor inside of that industry. And I think that's really incredible that you guys are doing that as well. And then talk to me a little bit more about like,
so how we get clients. You mentioned how we get our
clients. How you guys are getting clients. How are you getting the financial planners?
Yeah. So, okay. So Robert and our exec team have done an amazing job of getting out to, like, in the beginning, right? Getting more hands-on guerrilla marketing. First, the branding is on point in my opinion. We went to industry events. So there's a lot of, insurance only advisor events. There's also, there's just, different events for wealth management firms, and they got out there and they did actually a pitch for fintech in 2017, and they won based off their idea. But mainly right now, we generate leads through Facebook advertising. So online Google SEO, a lot of people come to our website, and Google SEO, Facebook advertising, but we're on every platform. I actually am in the process of helping us further develop like YouTube and Instagram. We've been pretty busy, so that's kind of got pushed off a little bit, but we have, videos on YouTube, testimonials. So similar to what you, we just redid our testimonials page, and you can take a look at it, snappykraken.com/love. And it's similar to how you've taught me. And I actually told them, and I was like, guys, like, let's do it this way. Now they were probably already thinking that, but we just combined ideas and, we updated the page. So that's been helping a lot. So even on our demo calls, we're directing people to say, hey, take a look at our testimonials. And then now it's gotten to a point of natural referral and word of mouth. We're part of large organizations of broker dealers. So we have, we're in an industry, as I mentioned, where it's not just independent people and business owners, it's large institutions that we've been working on for the last 2 or 3 years to get approved compliance-wise to actually allow those advisors to use our content. And so that's been huge as well for referral base as well. But most of them still, it's really running ads, and then podcasts, social media, organic, but mostly paid, and then events. And since the event stopped, right, I mean, we now have this slight edge compound effect that has been rolling for the last year and a half. I mean, this company was not near where it was 6 months, a year ago. They were growing. We've had amazing, but they've updated their product line. So we launched 4 new products a month, one new one a week. So that's started to compound, right? Then industry events, where I met you for dinner in San Diego. We were at an industry leading event. That's actually where we got ranked #1 in customer satisfaction, growth, and advisor interest for this year. But like, we went to that event, we had an amazing booth, amazing presence. So those are some of the ways. So going back to what's the point? The point is like, in my career as an advisor, I started by literally cold calling. I went to events on the weekends. I called my natural market. You just start, right? You just start like figuring it out and just doing whatever it takes. And then over time, yes, there are better ways to do things, and strategies start to fall into place as you grow and you learn. And now I have like a very narrow focus of how I'm going to do it, but it's a combination of not just one thing. It's everything. It's just like, why limit yourself to one thing, right? Ads. If you don't need to run ads, then start doing direct message marketing, right? So lower your costs up front. Organic content goes a tremendous way, and it compounds over time. I mean, Gary Vee's a living example of that, right? And any other, a lot of successful people that are a living example. Dude, you're a living example of that, right? Even through Instagram, promotions, to get more traffic to your page. And, you could do it in spurts. There's just so many different ways. And then obviously referrals, things compound. When you have testimonials, it just becomes a lot easier. And, then it never stops. It's just like a funnel, right? You put X dollars in, you get 2 or 3X out. So systems. And man, that's honestly what you've taught me and opened my eyes.
Yeah, I even wanted to say, so like, and I asked this, I've asked this almost every interview, and I asked Gustavo last week, which was really cool as well. We did an interview with him. And like, so in my opinion, like, I feel like the man I'm talking to today is totally different from the guy that I talked to almost a year ago, right? And in the best way humanly possible. You've got a lot of changes, and most of them for the better, which I think is awesome. But, you know, before joining Scaling Systems, once you got in, like, whether it was, you know, emotional, whether it was, you know, in your mind, whether it was actual actionable technical skills, like what was kind of the biggest thing that you took away from Scaling the Systems that was like, you didn't know that that was even possible. You didn't know that existed. You didn't know that that was a real thing. Like you don't know what you don't know, right? So what did you not know you didn't know that's now a huge part of your life that you can't imagine living without?
Oh, great. That's a great question. I'd say it's a couple of things. So number one, the biggest thing that stuck out to me that I didn't know how to do was like good copywriting and also the ask, just asking someone for an appointment, like without getting too wordy. It's funny because throughout my career, I was taught keep things short, simple. And then I go in these phases of too long and, you know, you get lost in your own head and that's natural. Everyone's going to go through their ups and downs, but, you know, having the two ask, direct message marketing and also leveraging help, getting help. So number one, community help, training, you know, investing in yourself, failing forward, dropping your ego, and two, leveraging systems like a virtual assistant to help you do the things that you need to do, but you feel like you don't have time for it and you're just managing too much. So it takes stress off the table, takes tasks off the table, and allows you to focus on just, you know, what you need to do to make money, which is setting appointments and taking appointments. And at first, man, you know, a lot of people may think from afar, like, oh my God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy this and I'm going to invest in this and it's going to happen right away. Like that is the furthest from the truth. Don't get me wrong. You can absolutely get results very fast. And we've seen people, especially in the group, who've done it. And we do it for our advisors, right? And I've seen it within my own business. But likely what's going to happen is it's going to take, you know, a couple of weeks, a month, maybe 2 months to get ramped up. There's a learning curve. Like everybody's rushing, right? Everyone's always rushing. Like and that's a problem that I have because I always feel like I'm behind, but who am I comparing myself with? Maybe I have high expectations of myself. I'm comparing myself with people like you, right? Other leaders. And I want to be great. I want to do great things, but I also got to remember like who am I, like nothing, they're not affected by me and I'm not affected by them. So the only person I'm competing with is myself. And you just got to slow down, crawl, walk, run, and things will start to compound over time. And man, that book, Slight Edge, like, oh man, that just opened my mind. I mean, my mind's already been open, but it's just really helped me regain a sense of confidence and determination and like just excitement around everything I'm doing. You know, I think like it's easy to fall into a trap of losing excitement for what you do. People change careers and there's no problem with that. You know, if you decide you want to, you know, go do something else. I mean, look at Michael Jordan. I don't know if you're watching this Michael Jordan documentary, but it's honestly incredible. By the way, I'm a huge basketball guy. So I won a state championship my senior year in high school. Like I love balling. And Michael Jordan, just watching this documentary, I mean, the level of this guy's competitiveness, but also drive is unbelievable. And then he won 3 championships and it took him 7 years with failing 3 seasons in a row against the Detroit Pistons to win his first championship. He won 3 years in a row. Then he decides, you know what? I'm done. His dad unfortunately passed away, but he's like, I'm going to go play baseball. So he goes to play another sport. No one judged him for that. I mean, maybe people judged him, but he didn't care, right? He didn't care. He was happy. And then look, he ended up coming back and winning another 3. So to become the greatest player ever and one of the greatest athletes of all time. So, I mean, things like that, right? Like stop rushing and just let it come naturally. And you'd be shocked at like how far you can get. Also, when you focus and just relax. And then surrounding yourself with the right people. That's the biggest thing too. And that's what I found valuable, especially in this group. And I still found it valuable today. I don't comment all the time. I feel like I comment a decent amount, but even just looking at it and getting the notifications, I'm like, man, people are winning. This is good. Like this feels good. You know?
It's good to just see other people making money. You're like, damn, I need to make some money right now, right? Like people are, and it's cool. And everything you just said was so incredible. And I'm so happy you said all that stuff. And like one of the things that I think is just the biggest part of that was just like, you know, the slight edge and this, the idea of we live in a society where it's like, if you're not a millionaire, if you're not making $10,000 a month within the next 3-7 days, like then you're the worst, right? You don't know what you're doing. You suck at your job. You're in the wrong industry. You're in the wrong business, et cetera, et cetera. But you guys have done a really good job at realizing that and optimizing that, and you really live it, which I think is pretty badass in my opinion, in my personal opinion. And it's cool seeing, you said it at the very beginning of this interview, but I'll just say it again right now, and it's that, you know, you're just starting, which I think is like a super cool aspect of what you're in right now, right? Like this, you're just at the tip of the iceberg. Like you're finally catching a little bit of that slide edge momentum. So that's absolutely incredible. Greg, awesome interview, my man. Thank you so much for being on here. This has been badass. I think that anybody on here that had some doubts about making money right now, or maybe they're in an industry that's really tough or really affected by this stuff, I think you've kind of blown them out of the water right now. And I know you're building your personal brand right now. And you're about to launch some really crazy stuff. Anybody that's watching this right now, what's the best way they can get in touch with you, find you, ask you additional questions, anything like that?
Yeah, great question. So in social media, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, I learned that from you. Keep it simple. Simplest way for communication, in my opinion. I think it's better than email. I think email should only be used, and that's what we really focus on also, is like email should only be used for clients and or, you know, prospect marketing. But anything, like if you want to connect with me, the best way to connect with me is simply through my Instagram at Greg Drozdow, Facebook, facebook.com/G Drozdow, or at Greg Drozdow. I have my page, either one. And any message platform. Send me a message. Let's connect. You know, I respond to pretty much all my messages. It may take me, you know, a couple hours, but I get back to almost everybody. And I've connected with so many people through Instagram and social media in general over the last year and a half. It's incredible. But I actively tried to do that. And I think that, you know, me learning how to also use social media the right way was also something I learned from you. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful for. And it's evolved. It's evolved over time. And, you know, we all get lost in the sauce, man. Everybody wants to have fun. And don't get me wrong, like social media has been great, but it can also be a major distraction. So it's a balance, you know, still getting better at it. I'm not perfect. But I'm trying my best. And yes, that's the best way to get in touch with me, through Instagram or Facebook, I would say.
Love it. Yeah, and Greg, when you come back in here in the group, you'll just drop your handle inside of here to make it easier for people to follow you, and then maybe even add you on Facebook. I think that'll be really valuable for people on here. So once again, Greg, absolute pleasure having you on here. Everybody, thank you guys for watching this. If you guys are watching the replay, make sure you comment #replay. Ask any additional questions that you have on here that maybe we didn't get to cover based on Greg's like previous experience. And I know him and I are both going to come back in here and try to answer it again. All right. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate your time, my man.
Thank you, Ravi. Appreciate it, man. It's a blast.